Hello, I'm Chandreyee Roy, and today I will be talking about a project that I did. I'm still doing it at the university, and it will be using these two wearables, watch and rings, but mostly I will be talking about the Aura rings. I'm sure all of you are aware about this. I just want to apologize for the data tribe. If anybody attended the data tribe event, most of the slides are going to be the same, except for maybe just two new slides I've added. Short introduction about me. I did my PhD in statistical physics, where I was studying critical failure phenomena in materials, fracture related, and it was mostly computational modeling of physical problems. And then I moved to Aalto here, and I was working in network science, mostly looking at human networks formed from mobile phone calls and SMSs, and we call it social physics, kind of. And from there, last 2 years ago, I got the opportunity to work on this Wearable project, where I was interested in looking at chronotypes. I started the project, or the whole project was on chronotypes. But now we have collected so much data, and now we are kind of moving on from chronotypes and looking at digital health overall. But today I will be talking about from the perspective of chronotypes. So what is a chronotype? So if you are a person who is like me, very non-productive in the morning, wakes up very late, but also goes to sleep very late and gets most of your work done during the evening time or after lunchtime, then you're probably an owl. And on the other hand, if you're a person who is very active in the morning, gets everything done in the morning, but after lunchtime is very tired and wants to go to sleep by 6 p.m., 7 p.m., then you're probably a lark in this literature. But most of the population in this world are not owls and larks. It's a spectrum. So you fall mostly within this spectrum. But there is a certain percentage of the population who fall on the extreme ends of the spectrum. And it is important to know what your circadian rhythm is, whether you are an owl, whether you are a lark, or whether you are neither type. Because it's important for your health, for your overall productivity at work. And it's, just important. Like, a lot of people don't know about this. So how do you identify your chronotype? I have put a QR code here if you want. So these are like standard questionnaires. The one that is marked in red, this is the morningness, eveningness questionnaire by Horn and Ostberg. So traditionally, this one and the Munich chronotype questionnaires are the ones that have been used extensively in the literature for the past more than 20 years, I guess, to study chronotypes. But these are questionnaires where they ask questions like a lot of things about your lifestyle, about your activity preferences, choices. So these kind of, then they put you into somewhere within that spectrum and identify like what kind of chronotype you are. But I would argue that while these methods are kind of really nice and well established, these have recall bias. So you are kind of remembering what you do. We would like to look at it from an objective perspective and what you're actually following, because a lot of the time people think that they are morning type, but they're actually following a neither type kind of pattern. So for that, in research, actigraphy data is used. So actigraphy is the research grade device, but it has got no kind of feedback. You don't it's just like a device, not like the smartwatch or anything. It just measures your activity. But then now we have mobile phone data, and then you have smartwatches and smart rings, which or wearables in general, which I think are a much better way to find your chronotype and adjust your activities around it. So this is a paper that first got me into chronotype was I was hired at Aalto to work with mobile phone activity. So we kind of ended up looking at individuals over a 3-year period. And we basically recorded and aggregated the calls. And for example, on the right, you can see one individual's weekday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now, why we separated these? Because people tend to behave differently on weekdays and weekends. Surprisingly, Friday nights are actually people start to behave like it's a weekend already, and then from Sunday night people start to align their schedules back to work days. So that's why we separated it this way. But you can see that this is from a southern European country, and there are like 2 peaks and of active call activity, and then towards the night time there is kind of low call activity. So we kind of on the right side, we arranged these in single individuals. There are around 1,560 individuals in this graph, and the light color means high activity. So basically those 2 peaks, and we arranged it according to the shift from the mid-sleep time, and you can see that it's not a straight line. It's tilted. So even in these 1,560 individuals, you can see that the bottom part are early risers or early activity people, and the topmost are towards the later part, like later evening types. And this got me interested, and here is the one of the results from the questionnaires that I talked about. So this is like, if you consider the mid-sleep time as a chronotype, this is from the Munich chronotype questionnaire, and they looked at this distribution in a particular country, and you can see that there are these extremes, mostly are in the middle, but then you have these extreme people who are either extreme morning or extreme evening types, and those are the people actually we are most interested in. So So let me talk about my study now, where I used watches and rings, so Withings Scan Watch and 20 Aura rings. And so how did we do this study? So first we recruited the volunteers, tried to keep it as balanced as possible between male and females. And then we gave, for the ring, we had to measure the finger size, because and then we gave it to the volunteers, and then it was hard to find volunteers for the watch for some reason, but we did do that. And then we also carried out a monthly questionnaire. So we would send it every month to them, asking about stress and other stuff. And then we asked them to sync the data once every month with their phone or app, respective app. And then I collected the data through APIs. And then this was not a part of the study, but later on I collaborated with a UX researcher at Aalto. This part is still going on. We did interviews with each of these individuals, and we tried to understand like how the user experience was over the course of 1 year that they used the devices. We had 20 watches and 20 rings, approximately 1 year. Here I will be talking about only the Aura rings for this presentation. We had 9 females and 10 males, and 9 females because one person lost the rings. So we only and this was the age demographics. Mostly healthy BMI, and then this was the BMI of the 3 groups that I sent them a questionnaire. I didn't find the chronotype objectively. This is a preliminary study, so I just went for the low-hanging fruit, send them the questionnaire, categorize them according to these 3 groups, and this is what the BMI is. Point to note is that neither type has the healthiest BMI. Both morning and evening type, as you can see, are at the higher BMI level. So first, let me tell you that the Aura ring collects a lot of data. A lot is collected. And most of them, here I'm talking about sleep, most of them are highly correlated with each other. I separated them based on weekend and weekday. As I said, that sleep patterns on weekday and weekend differ significantly. And also, I removed some naps from the data. I took only long sleep, which is taken during the nighttime, because believe me, a lot of people take them during the daytime as well. So only night sleeps, and also removed holidays and travel because people tend to not follow their chronotype on those days. And here is the first result. So this is just to confirm whether what I categorized as morning, evening, neither groups, whether they are actually morning, evening, and neither groups. So this is the mid-sleep time. So when they go to sleep, their bedtime and their awake time, the midpoint of that. So you can clearly see that there are 3 different groups here. The evening types are clearly sleeping way later than the morning types. And then there's the neither type somewhere in between. And this is what I really loved in the result, was that this is a score. Aura scores your sleep. And this is a score that you can see, yes, morning and neither type have high scores, and evening type have bad scores, but they improved with time, which is what I like, because the volunteers who took these rings were really interested in finding out the circadian rhythm. And I asked them through questionnaires at the end of the study, were you able to follow the circadian rhythms? They said yes. So I did not directly ask them, did you use the ring to correct your patterns? But I think if they were so excited about it and they told me through questionnaires that yes, they followed it, so I'm assuming that may have been the case. But I cannot say for sure. But also, but yeah, so they improved the sleep scores, which is good. And also goes to show that how you can use wearables as a feedback mechanism to improve your, to look at the data and then correct your behavior. So I was happy with this. And then I also studied the sleep quality. So this is a typical hypnogram. Aura divides the sleep into these 4 phases. So I studied I took an epoch of 40 minutes, and I studied the entropy, like how much they are fluctuating between these stages. And then it has been seen in a paper that it correlates directly positively with the sleep fragmentation index, which is used in sleep studies, which actually talks about your sleep quality. So high values means bad sleep quality, low values means better sleep quality. You can just look at it this way. Again, so yearly pattern showed similar results as the previous ones, but so I'm showing you the weekly pattern here. So this was interesting to me that for evening types, the sleep quality becomes very bad during the middle of the week, but then again gets better. Whereas the other groups kind of maintain their sleep quality. It's kind of same. So something is happening at the middle of the week, probably more stress or something. We don't know. And then another thing we studied was the activity differences among these 3 groups. And again, you can see like a very nice improvement in activity from the evening types. I want to say here that Aura Ring is not very good at activity capturing. It's a ring, so a lot of gym goers complained about it. They couldn't use it properly, and a lot of other activities also you cannot, measure with Aura Ring. In that case, they preferred a watch, and a lot of these volunteers had watches as a. I'll come back to the user part of it, as user experience, a little bit later. But also one more thing to note is that here is the weekly variation. People don't tend to work out that much or have more steps during the Saturday and Sunday for some reason, because maybe they're resting a lot. But anyway, this is the same for all chronotypes. But that was this thing. And then we, okay, so I when I started the study, I was not thinking about asking about stress. But so later on, I found out that there are proper questionnaires on stress. So that's my bad. I didn't know about that. I just asked this simple question whether they felt stress or not. And I asked this every month within the study. And I asked them to think about last 2 weeks because I thought 1 week was too short and more than 2 weeks was too long to remember anything. So I did this kind of just linear mixed modeling on this data. I looked at 2 weeks worth of sleep and the chronotype. And I noticed that my main important takeaway from this was that neither type reported more. Morning type reported more stress compared to neither types, but there was no significant difference of the reporting of the morning type from the evening types. What I mean to say here, I wanted to showcase here is that all the literature in this chronotype studies actually says that evening types are the most susceptible and the most vulnerable group in the society. Why? Because all the companies and all like schools, companies, universities, wherever you go, always follow the morning type routines. That causes stress to the evening types because they are unable to perform well, or their sleep gets affected. It is, but after COVID type, there has been a room for flexibility, and there are studies that have studied these groups pre-COVID, during COVID, and after COVID, and have seen that these differences go away when there is like flexibility allowed in the routines. So what happens is, like, when we say always waking up in the morning is good for you, going to sleep early in the night is good for you, but what is your chronotype? It's good for morning types, probably not very good or productive for evening types. So we need to keep into mind this nuances. It's like about, again, I would like to say that this was my thinking when I did this study, and this is not a proper stress questionnaire, so I should not be very strongly claiming that. But at least from here, I could see that there was not a lot of difference between the morning and evening types. That's all I wanted to showcase here. So, and now the new part of the study. So this is not part of the research. This was just me trying to look at my own data, because I was also wearing these two devices for almost more than a year, I think. So I just wanted to say that for my personal thing, I looked at I asked you can ask for your own data from the app. So I got my data, and then I tried to compare my Aura data with the Withings data. So first, let me, these companies don't share their algorithms. So I have no idea how they're scoring these sleep and scores and activity scores. But they do mention what they're using to score. So you can see those written over there, what Withings uses to score and what Aura uses to score. One main difference you can see is that Withings uses heart rate, but Aura does not. And Aura has this other system called readiness score, and it uses the heart rate and a lot of other things, activity, balance, body temperature, to score that. And that has kind of got a good moderate correlation with the Aura sleep score. So here is on the left is my sleep score compared with the Withings. You can see that Aura is not giving as high scores compared, and these are on the same nights that I have been wearing both the devices. So Aura has not been giving good scores to me, but it has got a good correlation. I can see that the holiday times, you can ignore the first holiday that I have marked because I was not wearing these two devices, and it was like very new to me and I was getting used to it. Probably some mistake there. But for the rest of the time, the scores quite match, even though Withings is giving me a bit higher score compared to Aura. And and I did get some bad scores during those holidays and stressful times. But and then when I talk about the contributors, core contributor, these are all the metrics that is contributing to the score. One thing I wanted to make sure, well, like I didn't like about this particular whatever algorithm they're using, is that as you can see in the timing part, the last one, my scores are kind of improving. It's on the improving side. However, they kept on giving me very bad scores through the entire year. And as I said, I was an evening type, and Aura kind of Aura promotes, even though they told me that I'm sleeping in the optimal window that they provided to me, they still did not like it if I went to sleep late. So they still penalized me the entire time I was using, unless I went to sleep at 11 o'clock, which was quite, I don't know what's happening there. And here is the the correlations between all these contributors that they used. And you can see that timing is the least correlated with everything else. So I don't know what they're doing. I would love to know. If anybody knows, you can tell me. But yeah, and then some final comparisons of the Aura and the Withings is, here is the steps. And again, I've been wearing the ring and the watch in the same hand. So I don't know why, but Aura is calculating more steps than Withings. But the average heart rate measured during the night is very well aligned between the two devices. I also checked with the lowest heart rate, and that was also quite well aligned. I could not check the heart rate variability because I couldn't find the data. Maybe it's somewhere hidden. I have not found it yet. And also this is very new. I just did it like this week. So yeah. And the next steps is, and I highly suggest this book, Why We Sleep, explains about how sleep is very important and how we should align it according to our circadian rhythms. I highly recommend it. And there are a lot of things to look in it. Now we are looking into gender and age differences. We have, Aura actually calculates the body temperature, and women's body temperature and men's body temperature, the monthly variation is like really different. So we are now studying that. And of course, my main aim was also to look at the objectively chronotype detection. We are still working on methods to find that. And finally, how people spend their special days, the sleep patterns on those holidays and, other events. That's the plan. And also, yeah, we are looking at the user experience. We are trying to utilize LLMs to understand the sentiment analysis of these user experiences, because some people actually really enjoyed the device, but some people actually had really negative effects, like to the point that they could not improve the score. So it was negatively affecting their usage pattern. So it's quite interesting to look into that now. Yeah, that's all. Yeah.
Okay.
Hi.
Thank you for the presentation. I was curious to ask if the users themselves were monitoring the results as well, right?
Yeah.
So they had some sort of dashboard that they could check.
Well,
did you consider to exclude this from the research?
Well, we cannot say for certain if they were every day looking at the, app, because the app has all the information, especially for Aura rings. You cannot see anything through the ring.
Yeah.
There's no screen. So you have to refer to the app. But I know for the watch, there were some people who were not interested at all. So they did not look at the data. They just wore it because out of responsibility for the study. But for the ring, we know that people have been looking up the data. Yeah.
So this was not a consideration for the research to...
No, we just gave the ring. We said, use the ring, that's all. We are not going to... only thing we did was send the questionnaire. We asked we asked in the questionnaire, questions related like that stress, then about holidays, work related stress, etc.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quick question.
Yeah.
In the questionnaire, do you ask for alcohol consumption?
Yeah, we asked it in the beginning, but we only asked like, what is your kind of how many alcohol do you drink? Like, is it once a week, once a month, something like that? But only asked once.
Okay, so you don't monitor the consumption because
But
it affects the sleep.
yes. Actually, I'm hoping because Aura has this tags, so you can tag whether you've had alcohol or not. So I have to look into the data if anybody has tagged it. I do know some people have tagged information over there, but yeah, I'm not sure if they have done it particularly.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks for the presentation.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to know like how much the ring affects the behavior. Like,
Yeah.
how much do you think it is kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy? Kind of, you say that you're a night person, and then you're looking at the ring, and then it like affects your kind of behavior.
Yeah, so it can go two ways. Like if you are sleeping well and you look at the data and you see good scores, it reinforces the fact. But it can also happen that you are not feeling well, but the ring is saying that you slept well. But I would still say that, for example, alcohol. If you've had alcohol and you had a bad sleep, it will show up in the data, like heart rate, your body temperature. This shows up, and then it's like you can go through the feedback and correct it. Yeah.
Like my watch is giving me systematically lower scores for sleeping than my ring was. I was using an Oura ring for a moment also, and it's kind of like and I get stressed that your watch keeps telling you that you're not doing well.
Yes, that is true. But I would that actually is the counter argument to it. Like if you are unable to improve your scores, we have had volunteers who have said that it has affected them, and they return the device to us.
So not sure how relevant this is actually, but so I'm typically an owl, I would say. But then if sometimes I take melatonin, like maybe once per week, I just completely turn into a lark. I'm thinking maybe the sleep quality is the cause for the chronotype.
Yeah, the sleep quality is the cause for the chronotype. I would say the sleep chronotype, I would say that you have a certain chronotype and you are probably not I'm not a sleep scientist, I'm just looking at the behavioral pattern here. So if you have a chronotype and you are not aware what your chronotype is and you are probably not following it, then your sleep quality gets affected by it. Because we have seen in the studies that even body temperatures are actually dependent on chronotype. So morning types will have an early onset of increase in body temperature compared to an evening type. So there are physical parameters that determine where you fall. You could also probably be a neither type and you're following another pattern probably. So it's very important to find your kind of optimal bedtime and the sleep where you think you are feeling. It's also like you have to assess yourself where it's making it better. But apart the melatonin, I did not look into medication because these are all healthy people and none of them have reported to us as taking any kind of medication.
So, yeah, it's actually just a sleep medication.
Yeah. So maybe that regulates your of course everything is dependent on the melatonin onset as well. So when that melatonin is being released. So again, morning type and evening type have different onset times for melatonin. So maybe your sleep is regulating that part. The medication, sorry. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. It was so close. It's like a basketball ball, but it isn't, right? Hey, I have 2 questions. Thank you for a presentation. First, I was wondering, have you studied effects of caffeine or caffeine-like products?
It's in the agenda, not yet.
Because I'm thinking like sleep pattern and even body temperature could probably be affected by it quite much.
Yes, definitely. Aura actually has done these experiments. Like they asked us to mark as tags that you have had caffeine. So it is possible. Yeah, same as alcohol. Yeah.
Right. And sorry, I had one more question in mind.
Yeah.
How do you? So there's a chronotype, right, being a night owl, but there's also this kind of pattern that some people fall to, which basically means bedtime procrastination. So I was thinking, could it be that the reason for low score, for night owls, actually it's a bedtime procrastination, and I would maybe even distinguish these 2 type of characters, so to say. Have you thought about it, or how have you thought about it?
Yes, so there are studies on this as well. I have not looked at it, but Aura Ring looks at when you go to bed and when you have fallen asleep. There is it's called sleep latent, it can be measured with the rings and the devices. Like on the bed, you're probably reading, watching television, or doing whatever, looking at the phone. It can detect that as well, how much time you're taking to fall asleep. So for evening types, and it can happen for morning types as well. It's not like, associated with a certain chronotype, but it is more of a, I would say, it's more of a behavioral change. Like it's not related. You are forcing yourself by looking at the phone or something. You can easily if you,
it's a behavior.
It's a behavior. Yeah, and that behavior change you can see from the Aura Ring, and of course you can force your chronotype to be whatever. Like you can be an evening type, but you can also extend that by looking at the phone, but that does not tell you that you are a morning type or an evening type. Then your sleep quality will be affected. Like basically what I'm trying to say is that the chronotype would be, just imagine that you have gone camping, okay, and you have nothing to do. And then you just wait for 7 days and see what your rhythm is. And that would be your actual chronotype, basically.
Yeah. And my question was how do you distinguish this, right? Because some people who have bedtime procrastination might look like they're night owls.
Okay.
And, and the night owls who are actually night owls are,
But then you look at your sleep quality.
From your study, I mean. So sleep quality.
Yeah. Then you study. You have to, it's like through feedback, especially I think these wearables are amazing in that way, because you can look at the sleep quality and then you can judge on your own and then find the most preferred sleeping time, I feel like. Because I understand what you're saying, because the Munich Chronotype questionnaire actually looked into that aspect of it, where people are reading books and watching television and everything. And then they looked at how it affects, again, evening types are more prone to do this than morning types. So it is kind of a behavior that needs to be judged firstly on your own and then by looking at the data. Yeah. Any questions?
One more. So you talked about this questionnaire sort of way to establish your type as well. Did the participants do this test as well? Was there check how these correlate with the qualitative numbers with the quantitative numbers?
Well, I didn't ask if the participants did any self-assessment, but I did ask about how it affected their sleep and activity. I got feedback from at least the Aura Ring users that they really enjoyed looking at the sleep, but I don't think they told me that it affected their sleep as such. They didn't say directly to me anything like that.
So they
used it.
They didn't take the test to establish their types.
What kind of test are you talking about?
Like there was at the beginning that with the QR code.
The morningness, eveningness questionnaire. Well, yeah, I mean, I didn't ask them. Like, I have the answers, what they gave me, but I didn't ask them about that. Yes.
Right.
But, the Aura Ring actually looks at your behavior and gives you a chronotype as well, if anybody has...
Yeah, that was kind of my question, like, how do those correlate? Like, if they did the test, then for me, it would have been interesting to see if the people can guess based from the questionnaire, their chronotype, and how does that compare with your measurements?
Well, Aura Rings, I don't know how they assign the chronotype because they don't share their algorithms. So I can't anyway do the test because I don't know. Like, they are not telling me as the researcher who's collecting the data what the chronotype is from there.
Oh, so it's the ring assigning the chronotype.
Yeah,
I thought it was like some sort of clustering on your part.
No. I did it through the question. That's why I'm saying that that's one of my agenda to find objectively the question, because there is no kind of method yet. If there is, it's with the companies.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.